And that's why Antarctica is one of those very, very special places.
Well. Good evening, John.
Good evening, Ben. How are you?
I am very, very well. I'm good. I am rested. I am clean. I'm in high spirits, shall we say. How are you?
I'm alright. I've just centered myself in the screen. You're in high spirits. I feel a bit deflated today.
Yeah, you did say earlier on, and I did feel a little bit sort of, that sucks. But why, pray tell, do you feel deflated, John?
I don't know, Ben. I don't know.
I think I have an idea why you feel deflated.
Go on.
You've been talking to us the last couple of days in our work chat, group chat, whatever you want to call it, and you've been saying things such as you don't want to participate in the social media conversation because everyone is just so polarized. And I think that polarization of people just going at each other is getting to you.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is. I'm quite disappointed in humanity as it stands just now.
Well, this is why I'm staying away from all of these conversations.
Yeah.
I'm just staying away from them because so many people who have been, on side with each other, agreeing with each other over the last 2.5 years, now at each other's throats because of the death of the monarch. And that's why we're staying out of it. We're not giving our personal opinions on Twitter, shall we say, because you can't give a full context description of anything on Twitter. So you can't. I mean, I had a massive spider over the door just before I come in, John.
Your random thought of the evening.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to steer the conversation away from the polarization. But he was a big, hairy, ugly bastard. He really was.
Big, hairy, ugly spider bastard. Yeah, I'm not a great fan of spiders either, to be fair.
No, neither am I.
I'm not frightened of them per se, though.
So this is what happened, John.
Yeah. But what is it? Is it hairspray or?
Well, it's insect killer, right? But it was obviously souped up on steroids when it became a flamethrower, John.
That's cool. That's cool. I mean, homemade flamethrowers. You can't beat them.
You can't beat them. They are a lot of fun, and we at Chasing Dissent do not condone anybody making homemade flamethrowers, or we're not going to tell you how to make such a thing at all.
Don't try this at home, people.
I'm not doing
Don't
it.
try this at home.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it in
here. Don't do it in there. The next thing you know, your hair will be on fire. You'll be bald, and we'll be mocking you. You'll do a Bon Jovi or a Michael Jackson. Both of them set their hair on fire.
I'm okay. I like my hair.
I think Michael's was worse.
I did it at arm's length, John. My hair is too precious to me.
Yeah.
I've got my wife telling me to cut it. Nope.
Yeah, I know. That's just because she's jealous, mate.
I love her dearly. I do love her dearly, but
she's just jealous.
Why? Because I've got longer hair than her.
Yeah. That's all it is. That's all there is to it.
That's all there is to it. I showed you a picture earlier, didn't I, John, of me when I was really fat?
Oh my goodness me. Oh, what happened there? I had a bit of a glitch.
No,
right, anyway. Okay.
Yeah, when I was really fat.
Yeah, oh my goodness me. It was shocking. I was shocked. In fact, I actually said something, didn't I?
What did you say, John?
I said a ginger wig and you would be a dead ringer for a fat bastard.
Well, yeah, I was 23 stone and 9 pounds.
Ouch.
Yeah, and then so what I did was I used that picture of myself to fat shame myself into losing 10 stone.
I haven't seen Vaughn's long hair.
He keeps it in a bun.
Oh, so he's a homosexual then?
No, he's not a homosexual. Jeez, we're 4 minutes into the show and with the bar's getting pretty low.
Yes, that's cheered me up, thank you. Yes, there is a list, but it's short. And undistinguished. And undistinguished, just like my Johnson.
How many times is he going to say that? I mean, he's definitely trying to make a point with that, aren't you, John?
No, I normally go the other way, though. It's normally long and distinguished, but it's not this case. It's short. Because, there is no news, is there?
Well, no, we're sort of being barred from the news.
It's not even that. There just doesn't appear to be any news.
Well, there is news. It's just when it's not being reported because everybody's reporting on.
Yeah, but the whole world is paused in reporting the news.
I say we get Jackie on for an interview.
Jackie's windows get tanned again. Jackie's not going back there, is she?
I don't think so. I really don't think so. How stupid do you have to be to do that like that?
You have to be a particular kind of ginger Scottish stupid.
Because you can have your opinion. Nobody's disputing.
Yeah.
If you're happy that somebody has passed away, you can be happy that someone's passed away, right? But when you do that, when you go on the old Facebook Live with a whiteboard proclaiming your joy and popping a cork of champagne.
Then shouting.
And then shouting and screaming how happy you are. Expect a reaction.
Well, she obviously set out to provoke a reaction and she got it.
Yeah, and no, I'm not condoning the reaction. We don't condone the reaction at all.
No, of course not.
This is the way of the world. This is the way things are. If you do something like that, people will come after you. And it's a shame. But, people have come after us just for simply having an opinion. My address has been doxed and, but she's got no brain cells. There's nothing there, John.
Yeah, I can't. I just can't understand it, to be fair. I just can't. Because you know that if you've got any kind of brain, right, you look at what's going on just now and you look at the amount of people. that are queuing up to pay their respects to the monarch.
6-hour queues to lay flowers at Buckingham Palace.
Right, so you've got you can see. I mean, they had the train station was overrun. I believe they had to close it. So you can see what's happening. How stupid do you need to be to not realise that if you're not a monarchist, which we make no bones about, we are not monarchists.
Not at all.
But again, we do not take pleasure in people's deaths, right? But if you're not a monarchist, then you're going to rile up a lot of people who are, because if just looking at what's happening just now, they vastly outnumber you.
They do. They vastly outnumber us.
Yeah.
We you know, there is a school of thought that you always think you're in the majority.
Well, yeah. Sorry, I'm just going to reply to Rami in the question. The thing is, I don't think this is a case of, unless you agree with the majority opinion, your opinion is deemed wrong. I think what's happened here is the person is perfectly entitled to have an opinion, but the way they have expressed that opinion was 1, very provoking, 2, inflammatory, 3, in incredibly poor taste, and 4, pretty stupid, to be fair. So I think it's fine to have an opinion, but there are ways, means, and times to express that opinion. And it's like anything. Sometimes you could be speaking to someone in what you think is a reasonable manner, and you end up, with a thing in the mouth,
Yeah. No. I just think there are so many people that admire this family. As you say, we are not two of them, right? We make no bones about that. We are Republicans, I would say, constitutionalists, whatever you want to call us.
Libertarians
don't really believe in the idea of hierarchical monarchy, but we're not going to have a party on a live stream to provoke the ire of the 6-hour queue.
Well, it's not even that. I mean, we have a certain degree of self-respect. We're not going to have a party to celebrate the death of basically an old woman, and regardless of how entitled they are as a family, which they are, right, and which they have a different way of life from we do, and it's completely unwarranted, and yes, I don't think it's fair. It's not fair. It's not equal. There's a lot of things wrong with it, but
yeah,
there's no point. There's no point in expressing, pleasure in one person's death.
I mean, have you seen the clips going around of Charles essentially making the plebs move the stationery?
Oh, yes, I have seen the clips, and yeah, he did it in a dismissive way, right?
Yeah.
But having said that, right, I've done similar when I've asked people to move things when I've been doing stuff, particularly if I've been presenting or something like that, and you want something taken off. I mean, he didn't want it moved on the table, he wanted it taken off the table. So what are you going to do? Is he going to pick it up? Is he going to take it away? And then where's he going to put it? And how long is that going to delay proceedings?
Let's not make excuses for the king, John.
No, I'm not making excuses, but how are you going to do these things? So he's not going to know where to go and put it. He doesn't live there, or he doesn't work there. So the question is, I'm going to be called a royal apologist now, am I? There
are ways and means of doing things. He could have
said, and he made a mistake. Yeah, he made a mistake, because let's face it, he's 73 years old, and he's been living like that all his life. So he's not going to change.
That in itself is the real issue here, isn't it? That we afford people that kind of authority for no other reason than being born.
Yes, it is.
That is a real problem. Now, am I going to pledge my allegiance to the king? No. Am I going to sing "God Save the King"? No.
Well, Nicola Sturgeon did.
I know she did.
And Ian Blackford did.
I know.
And you can't say they didn't, because it's there.
See, after seeing what I saw, I'm just gonna quickly address Belladonna Hawkmoon over in the YouTube chat. She says Charlie has someone squeeze his
Well,
toothpaste.
if you had sausages for fingers, what would you do?
But the thing is, I always thought that was a ridiculous joke, right? That you could semi-believe. Now I believe it. I believe he has someone squeeze his toothpaste.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, well, you got to remember that he's been brought up in a different world, and I mean, one of my friend's dads was brought up in a different world because he was in the army in India after the British had given the country back, but he remained there as part of the Indian army, and he had a Batman that used to dress him every morning, right?
Okay.
Now this guy's not. He wasn't well off or whatever, because when he came back, he became an engineer in this country. But, you know, you got to remember that it wasn't that long ago that it was a completely different world.
Yeah, that's true.
And the thing is, the royals and that, their time moves slower for them than it does for us in some respects.
They are kind of prisoners as well. They're prisoners in their lifestyle. Because, like I said the other day, you know, Charlie's not able to just, when he, or even William, for example, with his little kids, he can't just turn around and say, Catherine, let's go to Disney World. They can't do it, right?
No, they can't.
Even though they've got the physical ability to do it, they've got the private jets, they've got all of that, they can't do it because they wouldn't be able to have a family holiday, a family day out, right? Yeah. So in that respect, it's difficult.
And that's the thing that Harry and Meghan are kind of in turmoil about, because while she loves to be the centre of attention and probably is over the moon with the whole royal thing and the titles and everything, I think she was finding in the whole restrictive lifestyle completely different. I mean, look at them even throwing stuff up on social media today about the flowers. I mean, who cares? You know, really, who the fuck cares about these things?
Well, exactly.
You know, why get so wound up about it? I mean, you got to remember that, Charles is a dick. He always has been, right? But his mum's just died, so cut him a wee bit of slack.
Yeah. So with that, you know, you got to look at the you know, some people say they're not human, but.
Well, my dad served with him in the Navy, right? So they were on the same ship. And my dad said he was actually an all right guy for an officer.
Okay. Right? Well,
he was pretty straightforward, and he was an all right guy for an officer. And he wouldn't have said that to me if he didn't believe it.
So, John, I know you've already answered the question, but do we have a list?
Yes, we do have a list, Old Bean.
Roll VT?
Roll VT, as they say. Polarized.
Hello. Yoda Andrea says, hello, so sorry for the loss of your queen. As you know, today is a hard day for us Americans. Well, hello there. Yeah, exactly. Shall we start the list with 9/11, John?
Yeah, okay.
We will. September the 11th, 2001. World Trade Centers fell. A missile went into the Pentagon. I mean, a plane went into the Pentagon. And,
allegedly.
Allegedly. And a hole in the field, United 93. 21 years, though, right? Regardless of your conspiracies or regardless of who we think did it, thousands of lives were lost.
2,995.
Yeah, thousands of lives were lost. It is an absolute tragedy, and me and you were actually both over there, weren't we?
Yes, I was in San Diego, and I was intending to go to Mexico that day. Obviously, that never happened.
Well, I was kind of over there. I was actually on a Virgin Atlantic flight at the time this all occurred, between the United States and the UK, and we'd only passed over New York airspace just a few hours before, John.
Yes, you got out just in time, the nick of time.
Just in time, absolutely. But 21 years, and to me, it feels like not long ago at all.
Yeah, and looking back on it, it's like there are still so many unanswered questions, and still so many things that don't quite add up.
Oh yeah, so many things that don't add up at all.
So much. I mean, even the plane that fell into the ground in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
That one's a real weirdo, because where's all the bits?
It's a very good question.
And the thing is, when you actually look back, the hole was there before the plane landed, before the plane hit the ground.
Allegedly, yes. Because obviously the photographs that we have seen, and we have seen photographs to that effect, we don't know whether or not they were real or manipulated, but there is at least an allusion to the fact that the hole was there before the plane hit the ground.
Yeah.
I
mean the structure. I mean, never before has any steel-framed skyscraper been brought down by fire, right?
3 in one day.
And never since has any steel-framed skyscraper been brought down by fire. Grenfell Tower didn't fall down, right? It burnt for how long? 12 hours, something like that. There was a hotel. There was a hotel in Madrid that burned for 3 days.
The Empire State Building had a plane crash into it.
It did. But the hotel in Madrid burned for 3 days, and it's still in use today as a hotel.
I mean, it is very. It's all very weird, isn't it? And like you said, there's just so much that doesn't add up. But the thing is, we all think we pretty much know what happened, and as Belladonna alludes to in the chat, yes, $3 trillion.
Follow the money.
Follow the money, indeed. But obviously, the official narrative is bunk, right? It is bunk. Yeah. And that is the same with most things in the world, to be honest. Your government...
You know, the thing that really sealed the deal for me was when the Gulf of Tonkin was admitted as a false flag.
Okay.
That was the one that really sealed it. Because that was the event that triggered the Vietnam War. Right? That was the event that started the war in Vietnam. And they eventually turned around and said, well, actually, it never happened.
Well, the government is not your friend, that's for sure.
No, they aren't.
And obviously, when they enacted their temporary airport security, and how temporary was that, John?
As temporary as income tax.
In fact, it's got worse, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's got. I've been put through one of them bio scanners in the airport.
I wouldn't go through one. I refuse to go through them.
I was by myself. I was flying to Paris by myself. I'm a fucking disabled man hobbling around on a walking stick, and they're like getting the bio scanner. I'm like, huh?
No.
What would you possibly... And then they took my walking stick apart to look for drugs.
Well, to be fair, you do give the illusion that you may be a partaker of drugs.
John!
Yeah. So anyway, if you want to know all about 9/11, just look up Operation Northwoods. They came up with the idea like 20 years before they did it.
They did indeed. Anyway, John, let's get into the list.
Yeah, right. Okay, so 9/11 was on the list, so that's fine. Excess deaths are continuing worldwide, and they seem to be on the rise.
Yes, they do. Doctors and the government are baffled.
You know what it is!
We're all baffled. Baffled, sir.
Absolutely baffled. Don't know what it is, even though you do know what it is.
Yes, so I probably really don't want to get down too much of that, because Yeah, okay, let's move on. The Queen, despite her lack of warmth, shall we say, has actually become more mobile because she left Balmoral today and arrived in Edinburgh.
Yeah, she went on a 6-hour tour of Scotland, didn't she? And it was a slow drive. It was being followed live by helicopter cams, and I was sitting there thinking.
And Princess Anne.
I was sitting there thinking, and even the wife turned around to me and she said, "We're following a corpse." She said that the TV camera crews are following a dead body.
Yeah.
Around.
Yeah. But I mean, we did the same thing for Diana.
Yes. But...
And we did the same thing for all those British soldiers that got shipped back from that really useful war in Afghanistan.
But why are we? What benefit is there in following around a corpse?
There isn't anything really.
I mean,
and how much fuel did you burn? What's a helicopter's about what £1,500 an hour in fuel it burns?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah.
It's insane. But then again, if people wanna follow a corpse around, they should be able to, I guess. But when you shove it on our TV screens and give it us as the only thing that we can watch, I don't really want to watch a corpse. Yeah, I'm glad I've got Netflix.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. In this day and age, you really don't need to watch it.
Well, no. And like I said, let's go back to what I was saying a minute ago. Our news cycle in the UK is being held absolute hostage. It is wall-to-wall Queen Elizabeth, and will be for the next 9 days, by the way. There is, according to the British news, there is no other news in the world. And I'm not joking, they are not giving other news stories. They're not doing it.
Yeah, I know. And, well, having said that, most of the other news channels are doing the same thing. But
yeah, British news.
I watched the Formula One today. And the first 15 minutes of the of the pre-race program, they were talking about the Queen. They had Jackie Stewart on talking about how he loved to go shooting with her at Sandringham, and I thought, what the fuck? We're in Italy. We've got a race to get on with, and they're still bashing their gums about the Queen.
It's not going to stop for the next 9 days.
No, it won't stop.
And then once we get to her funeral, and once that's all done, it will be as if none of this ever happened.
Yeah.
And it will. The news cycle will just return to normal without missing a beat, and that'll be that. Yeah,
so what's it called? Bear with me a second.
Bearing with you, John.
Retail Insider, right?
Okay.
Today. The UK economy is grinding to a halt as the country mourns the Queen.
Oh, you mean it's being forced to grind to a halt?
Oh, well, is it or isn't it?
But it's kind of forcing itself to grind to a halt.
Is it? Because on Friday, Greggs was shut and Betfred, but everything's open again today or on Saturday. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
Right, but anyway, the UK economy is grinding to a halt as the country mourns the Queen and may hasten a recession that previously looked avoidable. I'm sorry. Who the hell thought that recession looked avoidable?
Well, considering we're in that recession now, and have been for some time.
Yeah, I mean, depression is on the horizon, not recession.
Yeah, recession was 3 months ago. We're on the road to depression now. Now they keep trying to inflate the economy with this artificial funny money, also known as quantitative easing. There's a £150 billion loan they're taking to feed the coffers of the energy companies. But recession, never going to be avoidable. We've been in it for 3 months.
I mean, if you want to know how to stop the energy crisis, just watch our video.
Yeah, we have the solution. We know the solution.
It's not hard.
The solution.
We are the solution. And you've got to go and look at our Biden shots.
Yeah, you've got to go and look at our Biden shorts. And also,
because they're funny.
I have a message for everybody that I put out yesterday about the deadliness of social media censorship, and a question about who is liable. And I'm just going to pause that there because I'm actually going to play that video instead of the outro on the end of the show. Because I think it's well worth giving a play. I think it deserves the coverage and the message. And then once you've seen it, if you haven't seen it already, please go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Chasing Dissent Official, and look for the not the short, but the actual video about social media censorship, and give it a watch, and please give it a share. And if you haven't already, give this show a like if you're watching on YouTube, and give it a share. Please do. And on
and
Twitch.
A subscribe.
Yeah, of course. Subscribe to the channel, please. We want to grow. We want to grow vociferously, and we want to grow fast. Let's move on.
We want to get to 500 because then we get more tools.
Yeah. Yes.
And we can increase our community. Anyway, right. Moving on. Moving on. Right. So you know that popular Twitter feed known as Defense of Ukraine, which is the
no, I don't. I can't say I do.
Do you not? This is the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. This is the one that published the Call of Duty missile stuff in the tanks from World of Warcraft. Right.
Now I know where the World of Tanks account.
Yeah, that's it. So they have 36,000 likes on one of their tweets were tested. Okay, so they were tested and found to be not 10%, not 50%, not even 90%. They were found to be 100% bots. Every like on that account was from a bot. So on that, they've found that 60 to 80% of all the tweets about Ukraine are from bots.
Yeah.
Right? And 90% of those tweets are pro-Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
So Twitter, anything you see on Twitter about Ukraine, unless it comes from me or the Russian embassy, I think you can completely disregard it.
Well, I think so too. And not only that, Elon Musk is going to...
Pro-Ukraine, not anti-Ukraine.
Elon Musk is going to win his lawsuit, isn't he, John?
Mm-hmm. I think so. I don't think he's going to be forced.
I think he's going to win his lawsuit.
I don't think he's going to be forced to buy the cesspool that is known as Twitter.
I think he still wants to buy it. I just think he wants a much lower price.
And he's going to get it.
He's going to get it.
So talking about prices, though.
Yep.
So Ukraine reckon... And don't ask me how they did this calculation, but I suspect the back of a fag packet might be involved, right?
Right.
But they reckon they need $349 billion to rebuild.
I'm not even going to dignify that with an answer.
Well, how can they say that when they haven't even finished the war?
Well,
they've not finished fighting, have they?
Actually, I saw a tweet from our shield friend Julia Hartley Brewer earlier on. Something like, "Do we dare to believe that Ukraine can really push the Russians back and win this war?" I saw it and I was like, "What?"
So apparently, there's loads of reports that the Russians have retreated, right? And Ukraine has recouped something like 2,000 square kilometers, not 200,000, 2,000 square kilometers, which isn't huge, but it's still something.
Okay.
But I can't believe anything that comes out on either side.
Well, this is it.
You just can't.
I don't believe either of them. I don't support either of the government. I don't support Zelensky. I don't support Putin. My thoughts, and I've said this a million times, my thoughts and my allegiances lie with the normal people like you and I that are caught in the middle, and that's where my concerns are. That's where my loyalties lie, and
that's where we draw the line.
That is where we draw the line, because nobody asks for this shit. Nobody asks for this shit, no matter what this shit is, and it is a wag the dog situation.
Oh, of course it is.
But it's a situation that the baker, the Uber driver, you know, the hotel clerk, the shopkeeper, they didn't ask for this shit.
No, they didn't ask for it, but the people that did ask for it, the people that don't need any money, are the people making it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And why would we give any more money to a country where we keep sending money for arms and it doesn't seem to be going into arms? It just seems to be falling into a massive black hole / villas in other countries.
Pay rises for Parliament, etc., etc. Right.
Yep.
So, on the question of money,
I'd like some, please.
Yeah, the Pope has ordered all assets to be returned back to the Vatican Bank by the 30th of September. Interesting. From across the Catholic world.
Is this...
all assets back to the bank.
So where have you read this?
In a variety of different sources.
Okay, so because it's not something I've seen or heard, and it's also not something it's interesting if true.
Well, it was first flagged up a couple of weeks ago, but it does appear to be a verified source now. So
Belladonna Hawkmoon says all wars are started by bankers these days. Let's take the these days out of it, right?
Yeah, take these days out of it.
Because you know, it's always the same. The same people funding the bandages are funding the bullets, right? It is all a money making operation war. It's called the military industrial complex for a reason, right? It's an industry. It's a money making industry. You sell guns to both sides, you sell machinery to both sides. It's something. Vaughn says, "Hey, have you guys changed something? YouTube and Twitch seem perfectly synced." Nope, changed nothing.
No.
Nope, changed nothing at all. But hey, that's true. Cool.
They weren't synced earlier because Twitch was well ahead of YouTube.
Well, that's
it still
enough.
Is slightly on my screen. Anyway,
so before we move on, let's tell them about our after party, John.
Indeed, let's do that.
Tell them.
Do you normally tell them about the after party?
Yeah, but I thought I'd stir the old pot, change things up, hand it over to you.
So if you can be bothered and give us money, you can come and talk to us after the show on the after party, where we'll regale you with tales of daring do.
You're not really selling it, John. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to support us on any of the methods in the chat right now, Patreon, Subscribestar, or Ko-Fi, then please feel free to do so. We would really appreciate it. And if you do so, you get a perk, and that perk is called the After Party. Every Wednesday and Sunday, directly after the show, a private link goes out either on Patreon, on Subscribestar, or on Ko-Fi, if you're going to use that, for people to come directly into the show. The show continues after the credits roll, but you guys can come in on video call, get involved. It gets spicier. It's not recorded. It's not live. It is just half hour, 40 minutes of chatting absolute shit, all of us together. It's a great laugh. And we do this every Wednesday and Sunday directly after the show. Exclusive to... you can sign up at any level. The cheapest level, you will get access to this as well. But yeah, if you'd like to support us, then please feel free to do so, and you would be able to join us in that after party. Let's move on, John.
Moving on, Ben. The Netherlands Minister of Agriculture has resigned.
That's quite funny.
Isn't it? You just can't take it anymore.
So what you're saying is the Dutch farmers are indeed winning?
Well, something's changing.
We should probably make an update on that then.
Yes, we should, because that was one of your best videos.
It was. Well, my best video was the one I put out yesterday, John.
Yeah, well, I do think it's an astonishingly good video, but it's nowhere near the coverage of your Dutch farmers.
Yes.
Yes, of course the farmers are still protesting.
They are,
My God. And in Germany, Italy, nobody shows you it.
Of course nobody shows you it, just like nobody showed anybody the freedom marches except us. Right? Us and a few others.
Yeah, nobody's telling you about the massive protests in Italy, Germany this weekend.
Nope.
You know, France. All these protests are still going on, but nobody's telling you about it. The Germans are out shouting for the Chancellor to resign, but nobody tells you about it. You wouldn't know what was going on in the world if it wasn't for us.
Well, exactly. We try and give you the real news whilst taking the piss out of it. That's what we try and do.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole Queen situation and even the 9/11 situation might be a bit too sensitive to start really hamming in on, but, you know.
Yeah. Oh.
Is that
It's
you,
raining.
John? Is it? Have the heavens opened over Scotland?
Climate change is upon me.
Climate change is upon John. The heavens have opened over sunny Scotland. And that's that. I mean, has she arrived at Edinburgh? You can unmute yourself, John.
Yes, she has.
We're just going to have to ride through the rain, I'm afraid.
Yes, apparently there was some booing as well when the King's proclamation was read out.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, the Scottish folk are like, you know, some of them are like odd, some of them are pure nationalist bampots, and the rest of them are just fairly normal and accept that live and let live.
Well, exactly. I put you in with the barn pot side of things.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Except I'm not a nationalist.
No, you're not. You're not. In fact, if you had the ability right now, you'd leave that dwarf ruled hell pit, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would.
Yes, you would.
I'd probably go back to somewhere like Sweden or France, to be fair.
Yeah, no.
If they were, you know, well, Sweden probably more than France.
Fair enough. Shall we move on?
Yeah, why not? Speaking of Scotland.
Oh.
Now, why has double the people that died in the same period last year died this year from, right?
You know why, John?
When twice as many have had the treat.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. We've got the White House. Don't do it yet. Don't do it yet. Because we've got the White House press secretary up there saying it again. She's actually said it again. She's made the statement again. If you get this new treat, you won't get sick. She has said it again. And we know that.
How dare you!
Sorry, that was a complete miscue.
But we know that to be misinformation. We
that
know to be misinformation. And it's coming out of the White House press secretary.
Yeah,
this
and
is
it'll be
dangerous.
On every mainstream media channel, and exactly what your video points out.
Well, yeah, that's exactly why my video is so important and why I beg everyone to go over and share it, right? Because
Absolutely.
Social media censorship is going to kill people. It is killing people. It has killed people.
That's what it's doing that right now, as we speak.
Yes, it is. And I can't stress that enough. I really can't stress that enough. And it is really close to my heart, right? Because of all these people I've spoken to that have been injured, that have lost loved ones, you know, it gets you down. It grinds you down hearing all these stories and these people in distress. And knowing that maybe if they'd been able to access another side of the debate, they may have made a different decision. It just sucks. It sucks.
It does suck.
It really does.
It does. You're right.
I don't want to go much deeper down it because I want this show to stay up. So
okay. So FBI.
Yep.
They appear to be purging all Trump supporters again.
Yes.
So the FBI is supposed to be an apolitical organization. It doesn't seem to me to be fulfilling its criteria.
It appears to me to be being the arm of... Basically, they are the enforcers being used by Joseph R. Biden to do exactly what he accused Donald Trump of.
Yes, exactly what he accused Donald Trump of. And you have got to watch that short. In fact, I'm tempted to just play it for you.
If you are able to.
Oh, would I just share screen? Would that work?
Share your screen with me and we will see how it looks going out.
Well, let me cue it.
Let me do some magic hand waving when it all changes, right?
Uh-huh.
That's all. I'm just going to go some.
Hold on, I shall cue it first.
So am I just waving my hands for nothing?
Sorry, could you hear that? No.
No.
Right. So,
Jazz hands.
Jazz hands. Jazz hands. Right, 2 seconds. Here we go.
I look like a fucking dick,
Right.
John.
Can you see him?
Yes.
Right. Are you ready, people?
Yes.
Our Constitution. We do not reject it. Second Amendment's not absolute. This is a nation that believes in the rule of law. We do not repudiate it.
I'm a little concerned that move by Gina McCarthy, shocking disregard for the rule of law in America.
This is a nation that respects free and fair elections. We honor the will of the people. We do not deny it.
You can even become the nominee, and you can have the election stolen from you.
And this is a nation that rejects violence as a political tool.
The U.S. military is helping the Saudis plan bombing missions over Yemen.
We do not encourage violence.
Isn't that what you said? Get your words straight, Jack.
We are still an America that believes in honesty and decency and respect for others. This is a nation that honors our Constitution.
You can stop screen sharing now, John?
Yes, I'm stopping. I just find that quite humorous.
Even
though I made it myself, I do like it.
You're getting pretty good at them YouTube shorts, John.
Yeah. I do like that one.
I like that one. I think it perfectly sums up what's going on. Shalini says they watched that one today. Well, thank you for doing that. She also said that they watched us on Sonia Poulton show, which is actually available on our channel as well.
Indeed.
That was
That was a quick 28 minutes.
Oh my god! When we came off of being on the show, we jumped straight on our morning meeting, and John just turned around to me and he went, "Was that really half an hour?" Because it flew by. It did.
Yes, indeed.
Right.
So you didn't realise it was ours, Ben, even though we had Chasing Dissent on it in our YouTube address.
Vaughn. I'm severely disappointed in you, Vaughn. Severely disappointed.
Oh, right, anyway, where were we? Let's go back. So, have you seen Biden's new appointee?
No.
Oh my god, the guy's a Satanist.
Oh, yeah, I've sort of seen something about that.
His social media profile is incredible. He's got 666s, he's dressed up in leather hot pants and everything. It is absolutely ridiculous. He obviously fulfills the diversity criteria from the point of view of being a complete and utter fruitcake.
Joe Biden is the gift that keeps on giving, isn't he?
Oh, isn't he just? Bloody hell. How does someone that get cleared to work for the president?
Your guess
He's
is
in the
as good
White
as
House.
mine. Your guess
He's
is
in
as
the
good
White
as...
House. He has access to Joe Biden, the President of the United States of America, the leader of the free world.
I'm gonna... Right, okay. I know how this has happened. They don't religiously discriminate, John. That's how it's happened. They don't religiously discriminate.
Absolutely incredible.
Absolutely incredible indeed. So, how much more have you got for us?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. So we may conclude this slightly earlier than the hour, but
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 items, I think.
Okay. So we're doing good.
So on good news, no more treats for kids in the UK.
Yes. So it would appear.
Stop giving them sweeties.
Yes.
No more sweeties for those kids.
No more sweeties for anyone under the age of 12.
Yep.
And also I've heard rumour of it's going to be shifted to 17, perhaps.
Yep. No more treats for those sweets.
No,
for those kids.
No more treats for the children. It would appear.
That's that.
It's certainly not being recommended anymore. Whether or not it'll be outright banned, I couldn't tell you, but it's certainly not being recommended anymore. Which is good, right? It should never have been in the first place, in my opinion. But they did it, And like Lisa says here in the chat, they did it on the quiet.
Did it in the quiet.
They haven't made a formal announcement. It's just sort of sitting there in literature, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
and you're right, they should never have started. Anyway, moving on. Now this one's tricky, okay?
I do like a challenge.
But the CDC have admitted that there may be concerns regarding certain conditions that may have been caused by certain treatments.
So what you're telling me is, John, my video is once again very important.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
So the CDC have admitted this. Remember that?
Yeah.
Now, this is something we've been banging on about since day one, and a lot of other people have, and a lot of people have lost social media channels around it, and a lot of people have been misinformed by mainstream media.
Yes, they have.
And made decisions that may have negatively affected their own health or the health of others that they care for.
Because of social media censorship. And do you know what? I'm
Yes.
gonna die on this hill. I will die on this hill. I think social media censorship is killing people. I do.
Yeah, well, I mean, in my view, and I've always been banging on about it, social media platforms cannot censor what goes out on them, because as soon as they start censoring it, they become publishers.
Yes, they do. As soon as they curate their content, they are publishers. They are deciding what can and cannot go out. Obviously, you can, if things are objectively illegal, then that's a different story. That's an absolute.
Yeah, absolutely.
You should take steps to obviously deal with that if they are objectively illegal. But if it is simply speech you do not like, or it's speech you do not agree with, you're not a platform if you start removing it. And I'll say that directly to Twitter, because how many conservatives have they? The ban hammer never falls the other way. And if it does fall the other way, then
reversed.
It gets reversed because there's an outcry from the activists, and then it gets reversed.
Yep.
But with the Conservatives, no matter how much the outcry, the only person that appears to got its Twitter account back so far, two people, Mark Changizi and Alex Berenson, because they had the money for solicitors.
And Mark's still taking them to court.
Yeah, and
There's
he should.
Still a lawsuit there.
And
There's
he
still
should.
a lawsuit pending, yeah, because he's still being throttled.
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
absolutely. And do you know what? If we had the money,
yeah, we would have done it. Yeah,
I'd be suing YouTube. I'd be suing Twitter.
I thought you were going to say suing me. I'd be suing you. You'd be suing me. We'd be suing everyone.
No, because obviously we now know that everything that they've ever discriminated against me.
Oh yeah,
it's true.
Definitely be taking them to court, especially Twitter. But
everything
YouTube as well. Yeah. They're all guilty of it. That's the thing. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. They're all guilty of it.
There's a reason I have never had to retract a story that I've reported on, and I've never had to make an apology for something I've said that's incorrect. There's a reason for that. Because
well, you might have.
Yes.
I have. I've made 2 apologies. But at
the,
least I made them.
Well, exactly. And believe me, if I did get something factually incorrect, hold my hands up straight away. I would admit it. I would apologise. But I am...
Which I did.
I am meticulous in making sure if I'm going to say something, it's a fact, it's a fact. And I've been like that since day one. And despite that, I have been throttled, I have been censored, I have been discriminated against. And I've simply been told, you're wrong, with no evidence. Never had any evidence presented against me that I've ever done anything wrong.
Exactly.
But, you know.
Right, moving on. I think Canada's the first. Canada appears to be the proving ground for all this carry on, right? So Canada
before you go there, I'd just like to congratulate Pierre Poliver.
Yes, sensible man. Mm-hmm. Canada has extended powers to the police, right, to enter a premises without warrant, right, that are adversely affecting the climate and shut them down.
You fucking what?
Yeah, you heard me. Canada have jumped the shark again. So this is coming. That watch out, people, because this will be coming. Germany will be next, or Switzerland. Well, Switzerland are pretty close to it anyway. They're going to put you in jail if you turn your thermostat up above 19 degrees. Remember?
I'm not sure that that's actually true. I think that.
No, I think it might be. Germany's using the army now on the streets.
Yes, they are.
To check that people are going to comply with the new regulation. I've lost it. The new regulations.
Yes, they are.
Yes. So, but Canada have jumped the shark again.
Canada have been jumping the shark this entire time for the last 2.5 years.
I think Canada and New Zealand are the proving grounds. Canada, New Zealand, Australia.
You know, the blackface-loving leader of Canada. He is nuts.
Justin
Trudeau.
My father was a communist. And your mother smelled of elderberries.
And with that, let's move on.
Marky Mark appears to have committed career suicide.
Do tell everybody what our dear friend Mark Wahlberg has done.
So Marky Mark has come out and said, you know what, if you don't like this country and you don't want to make it great again, then get the hell out. And that's not going to go down well in Hollywood, is it?
No.
Because they're all left-leaning Biden supporters.
Yes.
And Marky Mark is obviously a Trumpist.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And you know what? All power to him. If he wants to make those statements
I no way do I disagree with what he said, but unfortunately, it's one of those ones that you probably never see him in a major movie again.
He's not getting invited back for the next Transformers flick.
No
that's
more
for sure.
Transformers for you, Marky Mark.
Nope, no more. No.
And
more.
that brings us to the last item on the list, and it's science-based.
Science. Do we?
The science.
Let us pray. We're just going to have a couple of moments silence here for the science.
A moment's silence for the science.
Anyway, what the fuck does the science want?
So the science says that men have a vital part to play here. Men should suck women's breasts to avoid breast cancer.
Cool.
There you go. It's official. It's the science.
TM, the science.
There you go. And that has been the list. I'm sure it's been a pleasure for you.
It's been a pleasure for them. Yes, it has. Right. Well, I actually think it might be time to start wrapping this up. What do you think, John?
Yes, indeed. I'm very much looking forward to watching your video.
I'm very much looking forward to watching my video as well. I'm just going to make sure it's all rolled up. And I would like to say this. We've done 120 episodes of this show now. 120 episodes. Please subscribe on Patreon at patreon.com/Chasing Dissent, or indeed Subscribestar at subscribestar.com/Chasing Dissent. Ko-Fi has been added there as well. If you want to come and join us in the after party in about 6 or 7 minutes time, then you must be a member. Patron only post will go up on the Patreon page. You will be sending out a email to the Subscribe Stars, or a post to them. And Ed the Techie, Spencer, will be back this coming Thursday. The stream is already scheduled over on YouTube for our next edition of Down the Rabbit Hole, Who Shot JFK? John, close the show.
And I'd like to thank you one and all for attending this episode 120, which I forgot to mention at the start. 120! 4 score!
Mm-hmm.
4 score. There you go. So, thank you everyone. Good night, and we shall see you on Wednesday. May your God go with you.
And please, go and find this video we're about to play you, watch it on YouTube, and share it on your social medias. Good night. When social media companies censor information they deem to be misinformation that turns out to be absolutely true, information that could potentially lead to somebody developing a health problem, are they liable? That's the question I want to ask today. Over the past 2.5 years, social media companies have been actively censoring anything they deem to be misinformation, even when that information turns out to be true. Information that has been censored over the last 2.5 years could have actually led to better health choices for certain people, potentially cost lives, potentially led to people not being able to make informed choices. When that information is censored, removed, deleted, and people go and make choices because they were unable to access that information, who's liable? Is it the social media company? Is it the people advising the social media company? Are the social media companies even acting as platforms? I think they're acting as publishers. And at what point do we treat them as publishers? In the United States, social media companies largely benefit from Section 230 protections that protect them from being liable for anything published on their platform, because they are just that, a platform. Same as the phone company, because the phone company did not publish that information, somebody used them as a platform in order to convey that information. Now, social media platforms largely benefit from this protection because they are not meant to curate the content that's on their platforms. But they do. They actively do. They censor one side of any debate, one side of any argument, if it doesn't fit with whatever narrative the so-called activists working at the social media companies want to convey. And this becomes a problem because at what point do we say these people genuinely are publishers? Look at Twitter, for example, the amount of conservatives that they have censored. They censored a sitting president of the United States because of a narrative that they believed to be true. Coming back to my original question, when these social media companies censor information, actively censor information because they deem it to be misinformation, and yet several months down the line start allowing that information because it turns out it was bang on the money, it was true, it was accurate, at what point do they become liable for any potential harm that may have occurred because people were not allowed to access that information? And at what point do we start a lawsuit? At what point do people who have been injured or bereaved because they were not allowed access to certain sides of a debate turn on the social media companies and say, you had this information, you knew this information was there, people were conveying this information, you actively censored it? Who's liable? Is it the social media company? I'll leave that one up to you. If you've liked this video, then please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and we'll see you